I'm about to show you why farms are so important in this game, and why you should use them for more than just farming. A lot of people just make farm accounts, then they have them gather resources and they just farm them for resources. Yes, that's good to do, but you should also be doing something else at the same exact time. You should be training troops in your farms. Then you use those troops and reinforce your main castle. So this account right here is my farm account. It only has 90 million power. The stats are very bad on it. So let's go ahead and attack a castle. So yeah, this farm account is my best farm account out of all of them. Let's see what the stats are on it. So these are the stats, like 1,000 troop stats, like 1,500 cavalry, bowmen. That's without the dragon, so you add the dragon in. It only adds like 160% more troop stats. So obviously the stats are really low on this account. But you should use all your farm accounts and reinforce your main with them. So here's a battle report. So strong 40 player attacked my main account. As you can see, their stats are way higher than my main account stats. I was able to fight him off and lose like absolutely nothing pretty much. So why is that? As you can see, I have my main account reinforced with all my farm accounts. Here's Attack Me, the account I'm on right now with 90 million power. Attack Me killed 15,000 of this Stronghold 40's troops. So look, this farm account is Stronghold 22. It killed a Stronghold 40's troops. 15,000 Stronghold 40 troops are dead. This farm is even weaker than this one. Killed 9,000. This one killed 7,000, 10,000, 10,000, 2,000. See all these up. It killed about 22,000, 30,000, 40,000, 55,000. So all my farm accounts killed about 55,000 of the Stronghold 40's troops. That's about 13% of what my main killed. So all these farm accounts, I haven't spent a single cent on them. I just log on them, do the Spire to upgrade the dragon on them for free. I get all the speed ups and stuff from the trials for free to train troops with. Then I use resources that I get for free from the alliance to train troops. So my farms boost my damage by like 13%. Now that sounds small, but it's really not. Because if I killed off Hercules 13% faster with my farm accounts, that means he does less damage to me because his troops are dying off faster. So it basically saves me resources and troops by having my farms reinforce me, because my main loses less troops, because the enemy's troops die off faster. So yeah, 13%. These are my main stats. As you can see, it has 3,000 troop attack. So in order to mimic what my farms are doing, I have to boost my damage by 13%, just to have the main do by itself what my farms do for it. So if I wanted to increase my main's attack by 13%, I need like a 400% troop attack increase, just to mimic what my farms are doing. 400% troop attack. Let's take a look at this. So right here you have Catadjern. If you get his troop attack maxed out, give you 235%. But if you have like a star level 1, which I do, it probably only boosts my troop attack by like 170% or 160%. You need 25 Catadjern fragments to do that. That costs me about $60 to get that. It cost me $60 to boost my troop attack by 160%. But my farms are basically boosting by like 400% without spending a single dime. So I'm basically saving hundreds of dollars by having my farms reinforce me. This is a great way to boost your defense without spending money. You just have really bad farm accounts with really bad stats reinforce me. Because yeah, my farm had like 1,000 troop attack stats. Attack me farm, it still killed off 15,000 troops. Also keep in mind that my main account has really high stats compared to my farm accounts. So if your farm accounts had like the same stats as your main account, you would have a lot better results than I do. You might actually boost your damage by like 50% or 100%, 200%. So why is it that with horrible stats these farms are doing so much? Why are they killing so many troops? We have to understand in this game that there's diminishing returns for each player separately. So if you attack a golem, for example, and you do like a golem calculator, it always wants you to send like tier 1s, tier 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s. Why does it want you to send some of every tier? Why don't you just send one of the highest tier? And that's it. Well, it's because there's diminishing returns. So the tier 11 cavalry might have 11 attack, and tier 10 cavalry has 8 attack. Why wouldn't I just send all tier 11s to attack somebody? Well, the more you send the same troop, the less and less damage they do. That's how the game works. It's probably some people don't train up like 5 million troops of tier 13s. Then just have them sit in their castle and like one-shot everybody as soon as they attack. So how you get around this law of diminishing returns? So basically you have multiple accounts. Because each account has its own separate law of diminishing returns. As soon as you start adding troops to one account, that one account does less and less damage with its troop you're sending. That's how the game works. But now it's kind of weird though with infantry. It doesn't work the same. With infantry you have defense and health stats, but there is no diminishing returns for this. If you have 5 million infantry with 14 health and 16 defense, every single infantry is going to have 14 health, 16 defense. There are no diminishing returns for infantry. There is for the attack stat of infantry, but not for health and defense. So spam training infantry is really good to help defend your castle because there's no diminishing returns with it. However, if you start spam training like tier 11 cavalry or archers, it'd be really bad. Because each troop does less damage than the last troop does. So what does that mean exactly? What that means is that you should train a lot of infantry. Like I have 1.6 million tier 10 infantry. I guess like 1.7 million. And then I train a little bit of each troop tier for cavalry and archers. So yeah, eventually, with diminishing returns, sure, the first archer you have at tier 11 is going to do 12 attack. The second one will be like 11.99, then it'll be 11.98. Eventually, it'll drop down so low that the attack will be like 7 attack, at which point this tier 10 is doing 9 attack. So it's actually doing more damage than tier 11 is. So you want to kind of have a little bit of each tier trained for archers and cavalry. Because eventually, attack will drop so low once you train so much with the same tier. It's actually better to train a lower tier because not only does it do more damage at that point, but also costs less because it's cheaper to train them because they're a lower tier. So then what do you reinforce your castle with? In my opinion, you should never reinforce a castle with infantry ever. So like I said before, infantry has no diminishing returns for health and defense. So you have your main castle train a bunch of infantry. There's no diminishing rule of returns. So you have your main do all the infantry. Then you have your farm accounts just train cavalry and archers. Because your farm accounts are going to do a lot more damage than it seems like they're going to do. Because they only send a few troops. So they have less troops that are getting diminishing returns. Like for example, if I had a farm account the same exact stats that I have, and I have 50,000 tier 11 archers in my castle, and the farm sends 50,000 tier 11 archers in my castle, we have the same exact stats, they're both going to kill, let's say they kill, for example, 50,000 troops each. So 100,000 troops total. So you have 50,000 of your main, 50,000 of your farm, killing off 50,000, 50,000. But then if you had 100,000 troops in your main, and 0 for reinforcements, you'd probably only kill off like 75,000 or 70,000 troops. Because there's diminishing returns on each player. Another thing to keep in mind is that bowmen get targeted first. Or getting attacked. Crossbowmen get targeted second. So what does this mean? You should reinforce your main castle with crossbowmen, because then the reinforcements of the crossbowmen just sit back dishing out damage non-stop. Then your main castle's bowmen wind up dying because they have the higher stats because it's your main account. So the account with weaker stats just hides behind your main account and it just sits behind there doing damage, doing damage, doing damage. This is why I have my farm accounts reinforced as only crossbowmen. So it hides behind the high defense and health of your main account. They're like never targeted unless there's some special ability. Or troops can like counterattack and stuff. Or Uther can do damage too sometimes. I also have my farm accounts reinforced with heavy cavalry. Because light cavalry are always targeted first. So light cavalry, my main, die off. All the reinforcements of heavy cavalry are never targeted at all. They sit back to shot damage. Now there is a downside to this. If you start killing off your whole kingdom like I do, and the king starts relocating you with a forced teleport, it sends all the reinforcements back to the city where they came from. So how do you get around this? You just have your farm accounts log on before you sleep. You do an instant recall, then you hide the troops inside of towers and stuff. Then when you're about to attack somebody, you just send the reinforcements back to the castle. This is also why rallies work so good. Because you have the law of diminishing returns in everybody. It's like if I sent 50,000 tier 10 infantry, 50,000 cavalry, 50,000 archers, they do a certain amount of damage. Then if I doubled that amount, the archers and cavalry, they would not do double damage. They do less than double. Because there's diminishing returns. But if you had a mega rally, and you have someone match your troops, you actually will do double damage. Because each player has their own law of diminishing returns. So yeah, it's weird. That's how the game works. Like I said, it's probably in the game to prevent people from training like 10 million tier 13 cavalry. And then just like one-shotting everybody that attacks their castle. Basically, the last million cavalry troops are going to do substantially less damage than the first million cavalry will. Say if you had 5 million tier 13 cavalry defending your castle, and if the attack never diminished, you'd seriously one-shot everybody. Guaranteed. In the first round. So you have to have diminishing returns just to prevent that. From people stacking troops. So yep, thanks for joining my class. Subscribe to my channel.